This is the Scrap Metal and Commodities Recycling Report brought to you by Benlee Roll-Off and Open-Top Trailers and Raleigh Goldsboro Metal Recycling, February 22nd, 2016. In this report, markets were quiet with showing signs of stabilization and some increases. Also, the world's largest metal recycler, Sims Metal Management, released their earnings, which were actually a major loss. Steel production in the U.S. continues to rise and is now the highest in about 2 months. Production is a nice about 17% above the end of the year and a solid 13% above last year's fourth quarter average. These numbers are good news for steel mills, which could lead to some increases in steel prices though. A major reason for the U.S. increase in steel production was caused by the major decrease in steel imports into the U.S. Steel imports in January 2015, a year ago, were 57% higher than they were this January. Oil rigs, major steel users, took another major step down. The oil rig count is now down more than 74% from its high of about 16 months ago, and it's the lowest in over 6 years. Scrap steel prices continue to remain stable. While there is word of some softening next month, looking at U.S. stronger production, it is clear that if there is some softening, it will be due to reduced export demand, not U.S. demand, which is clearly up. Hot-rolled finished steel prices remained up a bit as well. The major reduction in steel imports could bring some upward pressure on prices in the coming weeks, as we just said. Stainless steel scrap prices are staying a bit higher as well and had a short uptick that came down on the news of U.S. companies filing unfair trade practices against the Chinese. Copper didn't move much for the week, but at least ended up and is continuing up very nicely this morning. And when looking at this 5-year copper chart, we see some stabilization near at about the 7-year lows. Aluminum prices actually hit a new multi-month high on no real new news. Of course, in recent months, there have been announced capacity cutbacks, which is having its effect of increasing prices. Yet in reality, when looking at the 5-year chart, we see aluminum also near its 7-year low. Waste Management, the largest waste hauler and recycler in the United States, released 2015 earnings last week that were higher on an adjusted basis. Recycling volumes and prices were down though. Importantly, they are forecasting that 2016 recycling operations will have no year-over-year impact on earnings, meaning they see nothing getting better for the recycling industry. The Empire State Manufacturing Survey was released last week and showed manufacturing in New York State continued to decline considerably, which of course is bad news. Sims Metal Management, the largest metal recycler in the world, also released earnings last week. For many of you watching this, it could be worth your going to their website and reviewing their information, which discussed market trends. Some of the highlights were they're on plan to close or sell 35 operations, mostly in the central part of the U.S. 50 recycling companies have closed or gone bankrupt in the U.S. in the second half of 2015. And like Waste Management, they are forecasting no improvement in recycling within the next at least 6 months. We always like to end on a positive, so we repeat that prices seem to have stabilized when looking at a key product like copper. Stable is better for most companies than the drop we have been seeing for many years. With that, we hope all have a safe and profitable week. My name is Greg Brown.